pare mula sa Diocese ng Cubao ang nagdaraos na misa sa kalye. Si Father Ronald Roberto, Kura Paroko ng Holy Family Parish ay nagsagawa ng misa sa kalye sakay ng pick-up truck. Ito'y tinawag na truck ni Kura.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. We are given again tonight another opportunity to celebrate together, in a very unique manner, the sacrifice of our Lord Jesus through this celebration of the Mass, this Holy Eucharist. And in today's liturgy, we are being challenged to reflect on how we see conversion in our lives. The challenge to really experience true conversion. True conversion means the presence of God, the presence of goodness in our lives. Okay? Pag sinabing converted ang isang tao, ay mayroong presensya, nananatiling presensya ng Diyos at ng kabutihan sa kanyang puso. In the gospel that we have heard, Jesus drove out a demon from a man being possessed. He performed a miracle. He performed a miracle. And therefore, it is a good deed. It is a miracle. He freed that person from being possessed by a demon. And when he did this miracle, some people, and I am sure these people were cronies of the Pharisees and the scribes. They said, "Look at him. Look at Jesus," they said. "By the power of Beelzebul, the prince of demons, he drives out demons." Nakakita ng himala, pinalaya ang isang tao sa pagkakaalipin mula sa masamang espiritu, sa demonyo. At nang nakita nila ang milagrong ito, anong sinabi nila? Ginagawa niya yan sa pangalan ng demonyo. Ginagawa niya yan sa pangalan ng demonyo. At hindi pa sila nakontento. Other people said, "Give us a sign from heaven." Give us a sign from heaven. They were trying to disprove Jesus. They were trying to discredit Jesus amidst the good things He was doing. Kaya nga sa ibang bahagi ng Ebanghelyo, di ba? Sabi ni Jesus, "Oh, this crooked generation." This crooked generation, He said. Because real conversion did not happen to them. Jesus was already with them. Signs of miracles, of God's greatness and goodness were already there in front of them, happening in front of them. The mystery of God being unraveled in front of them. Yet, instead of recognizing the invitation and accepting the invitation towards conversion, they refused and declined. And rather, they tried their best to discredit our Lord. How does conversion happen? Ano bang naging problema sa mga taong ito? I would like to borrow the reflection of Father Dave. I heard him reflecting on conversion once. Dave Concepcion. At sabi ni Father Dave Concepcion, conversion happens through a process. A process that involves, number one, awareness. Awareness. Number two, naming. Number three, claiming. And number four, deciding. Awareness, naming, claiming, deciding. Ano itong apat na ito na steps at levels towards an authentic conversion, no? And we said conversion is the presence, no? The continuing presence of God and goodness in one's life. Awareness. A person goes through a process of conversion when he begins to see and be aware, know and understand that something is wrong with him, in his life, in the situation. No? Simula yan ng process of conversion kapag aware ka na. Ano ba sa Tagalog ang aware, brother? Ha? Mulat. Galing ha. May Tagalog dictionary ako dito. Walking Tagalog dictionary. Mulat ka. No? Mulat ka sa katotohanang may mali na nangyayari. That is the beginning of conversion. Because if you are not aware, then you will not be going through the process of conversion. Diba? Simula pa lang dapat alam mo na mayroong mali. Itong mga taong ito, simula pa lang. No? Alam ng mga tao publicly na may mali sa sistema nila. Pero hindi sila aware. O kung aware man sila, tingnan natin kung papasok sila sa mga susunod na steps. Sabi ni Father Dave, ang ikalawang level nito, naming, pagpapangalan. You are aware that something is wrong, then you name what is wrong. Pangalanan mo, ano yung problema? Ano yung mali? Ano yung maling nagawa? Ano ba yung maling nagawa? Maaaring may nawalang gamit, nawalang pera. Maaaring may pandarayang nangyari. Maaaring may pagsisinungaling na nangyari. So you identify the sin. You identify what is wrong. Now let us take a look at the people in the gospel. Were they aware? Perhaps. Perhaps they were aware. But were they able to name? Instead of naming the sin, the shortcomings that they have done, they looked at Jesus and accused him of something else. So, dun pa lang may problema na. No? Dun pa lang may problema na. Pangalanan mo, i-identify mo anong problema, ano ang mali. Ano ang mali? And then thirdly, after being aware, naming the shortcoming or the sin, you claim it. Conversion demands that you claim the problem. You claim the sickness. You claim the sin. Na-identify mo na anong problema? Aba, angkinin mong sayo yan. Ang problema kasi, pagkatapos ma-identify na may kasalanan, na may pagkukulang, na may problema, hindi maangkin na kasalanan niya. Nakasalanan niya. Kaya madalas nating marinig, Father, kaya ko lang naman po nagawa yun kasi may kasi pa. No? Kaya nga po ako nakiapid kasi yung misis ko parang may megaphone sa lalamunan. No? Nandamay pa. Kung hindi man mandamay, mantuturo pa ng iba. No? Ipapasa sa iba ang kasalanan. Authentic conversion claims the identified sin. Paul, in his letters, repeatedly said, dati ganito ako. Ako. I persecuted the followers of Christ. Inamin niya, in-identify niya, inangkin niya sa kanya. Hindi nanduro, hindi tinuro, hindi nanisi ng iba. He could have blamed the other Pharisees. Saint Paul could have blamed his own faith. But Paul, in his humility, admitted to himself and to everyone whom he met, it's my fault. That's why at the beginning of the Mass, before we celebrate the sacrifice of Jesus, we examine ourselves. And in the long format of the penitential act in the Mass, the confiteor requires us to say that I have sinned through my fault, through my most grievous fault. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Hindi sinasabi sa confiteor na I have sinned through my fault and my spouse's fault, my children's fault, my neighbor's fault, but my own fault. You have to claim that it is your sin. Now, the people in the time of Jesus failed that. They failed to do that. Dahil nga sa simula pa lang, ayaw nang angkinin na sila'y may kasalanan. Ayaw nang aminin na sila'y may pagkakamali. Now, the last step towards real conversion is this. Sabi ni Father Dave, decide. Decide. Now that you are aware, now that you have identified or named the problem, what is wrong with you, now that you have claimed that it is your fault, decide. What are you going to do with it? Anong gagawin mo? Ano nang gagawin mo ngayon? Ngayong inamin mo na ang iyong pagkukulang at pagkakasala. Dahil kung walang pagdedesisyon na mangyayari, walang pagbabagong magaganap. Walang pagbabagong magaganap at paulit-ulit lamang ang routine. Walang conversion na mangyayari. At ang kasalanan, uulitin at uulitin lang hanggang sa maging manhid na at hindi na makaramdam ng kahit anong pangamba dahil pinaniniwalaan na rin ang sarili niyang kasinungalingan. At kapag nangyari yun, mga kapatid, the absence of goodness. And if goodness is not there, if God will not be welcomed in, then something else will dominate. It can become a possession. The evil one may possess us by our habitual sin. By our habitual sin. And we are not even aware of it. Hindi tayo aware na ang demonyo na pala ang kumukontrol sa atin. Dahil sa ating pagtanggi sa pagbabago o conversion sa ating buhay. Decide. And the people of the time of Jesus failed to experience real conversion because of their pride. Because of their pride. They upheld their law to the point of not recognizing the goodness present in the deeds of our Lord. They upheld their law, the basis of being a faithful Jew, to the point of, disproving Jesus, not recognizing the good things He was doing. Ibig sabihin, there was an absence of goodness. God was not allowed to enter into their system. And then, who else can occupy that space? But the enemy. The enemy. Kaya si St. Paul sa letter to the Galatians in the first reading, emphasized that. No? Do you think that your law will save you? A real righteous man is a man who is righteous by faith. Because not everything that is legal is moral. Not everything that is legally correct is morally sound. And so today, my friends, let us examine ourselves and ask the question, have I already experienced true conversion? May tunay na bang pagbabagong naganap sa akin? Knowing that conversion is the presence, the continuing, constant presence of God and goodness in my life. Have I embraced real conversion? Have I decided to really follow Jesus?